Hi, this is Sal J from the Psychic Healing Academy, and welcome to day 9 of staying positive while you are manifesting your goals and your dreams. So yesterday I talked a little bit about how you can stay positive by creating a new blank canvas for yourself whenever you are getting despondent around your dreams and manifestations. So being able to pivot and say, okay, well, I know I don't want my life to look like this, but how do I want it to look like? Today, I'd like to talk about the powerful act of staying silent while you are manifesting your goals and how this can really speed up your goals hugely. So when I talk about staying silent, obviously I'm not talking about never speaking while you're trying to create something. I'm talking about maintaining what is called sacred silence around your manifestations and your goals. So sacred silence is where you are holding your manifestations and goals within yourself, and you are making sure that you are sharing them with no one except, the most like-minded, positive, optimistic people. And particularly while you're in the creation process and you're working on something and you might not quite have figured out exactly how to pull it off yet. So there are two reasons why sacred silence is incredibly important for manifesting your goals. The first I'd like to talk about is, I take it from a very good friend of mine who's now a member of parliament and who I used to work with years ago. And he and I used to brainstorm a lot about, quitting our jobs and going out to follow our passions. And he used to say, we've got to keep it between you and I, because we don't want everyone else around here. We don't want people, when we tell them what we want to do, to be called on their stuff, or in a crude way, called on their shit, their stuff, and bringing stuff up for them. Now, what does that mean? It means that sometimes if you're telling everyone you want to do something, so say for example you work in an environment and you want to quit your job and go and be a massage therapist or a Reiki healer or a psychic or, an online educator, and you start telling people around you that this is what you're working towards. What can often happen is the people around you can suddenly get a little bit confronted that you are following your dreams, and they can start either being vocally negative, like they can start, challenging you a bit and saying, oh really, or don't you have a mortgage, or well, that, a lot of those businesses fail, which will make you feel quite demoralized and be, much harder for you to stay positive. But they can also, it can also bring up a little bit of envy, and it can bring them up, to make them sort of question themselves. They can start thinking like, and even if they're not wanting to follow the same dream as you, like say for example they want to be a painter and you're quitting your job to go off and be a massage therapist, they might start being like, oh well, I wish I could do that, and good, at least you can do it, and I can't. And they can get a little bit limiting, and that kind of energy can really not put a nice bubble or a nice fear around your beautiful little goal. And then what can happen is that you might reach an obstacle and in your in your goal, for example, and instead of being able to stay positive, and instead of being able to think outside the box or come up with new creative ways to solve it, you might then unconsciously sort of think back, and you might not even be aware of it, to the negativity that came from the experience when you shared your goal with someone else and they weren't really that supportive, or they were all super happy smiles, but underneath they were kind of simmering a bit, and thinking, oh, who the hell do you think you are, and I should be doing that, and that kind of thing. Or so this is one reason why staying silent in your sacred creation, especially while it's a new project, like it's not already established, is crucial when you are working towards manifesting your goals. Now, the second reason is that your beautiful little creative energy is like a part of your being, and it's a part of who you are, and it's a part of your creative process. And that's it. You don't have to be an artist for that. You don't even have to be, this is for people that are even creating online content or, an ebook or something. Like anything that you're doing has its own little energy. And if you start telling people about it before it's, started hitting the ground and running, then what you're doing is you are dispelling that energy. So that means that, you're sending that energy out there without an actual foundation. So I'll give you an example. So say, for example, you are writing a book. Now, if You might have been wanting to do this for a long time and you've decided to go and, live in the south of France and write a book, as a fantastic dream. And you've gone around and told everyone, like, I'm leaving behind my job and everything and I'm going to go live in south of France to write this book. And, people could be like, oh, lucky you, that's so wonderful. And, so you're there. But what you've done is you've dispelled that energy out into the universe. And you've taken a little bit away from your own creative process, because especially with artistic processes, these kind of things need to percolate. They need to go in your unconscious, and you need to come up with solutions and ideas and inspiration. And you can't do that if you're too busy answering everyone's questions and getting everyone's justification, like making other people kind of feel assured that you are on the task. So say, for example, you've moved to France and you get there and, you set up your computer and suddenly you're staring at a blank page. And you get, you start Skyping a friend and they say, oh, how's your book going? And, you're hit with this feeling of guilt and remorse and maybe a sense of failure. And you've only just begun. Like, you're only just sowing those beautiful little seeds. So I suggest, try not to tell people what you're doing. Try not to, don't let them share your big dreams, unless of course they're, an incredibly supportive partner or a couple of select very, supportive, loving, like-minded, positive friends when it comes to your goals, because you don't want your energy out there to be, getting weakened and diluted because you're having to justify what you're doing to other people. And you obviously don't want it out there, and you don't want people to be putting their bad juju on it by judging you or by, basically making you feel like it might not work out. Like, because you need enough of your own strength and courage to pursue your dreams. So I strongly suggest staying as sacred, as silent as you can while you're working towards your goals. And try to resist that urge, especially like if you're out to dinner with some friends, or you're bumping into people you haven't seen for a while and they're going like, so, what are you doing with your life? And instead of trying to sort of justify your existence by saying, well, I'm working towards this goal, and hi Debbie, I completely understand this. Yes. So instead of working towards, trying to make yourself feel better by going, well, I'm about to write this book and I'm moving to France, just keep it in and allow the creative process to assist you a bit by letting things come to pass as they should be coming in their own time, rather than feeling the pressure that you've got to, live up to other people's expectations because you're taking these big risks with your life. So I hope that's helped you today, keeping very sacred and silent with your big manifestation goals. And I will add one little disclaimer. Like, obviously, if you're someone who's looking for investors, like say you've got a project going and you need investors, in that particular circumstance, obviously you're going to need to tell some people. But, stick to people that actually can help you. Like, don't just tell the postman or, some friends of yours that are in the bar that, can't really help much. Like, tell people that actually are entrepreneurs, people that are already pushing the boundaries of what's normal and the status quo and are already taking risks with their lives. Like, share your experiences and your goals and your dreams with those people, because they're the ones that can help you. Don't tell people that really are just going to either put you down, or they're just going to be like excited for you, but they're going to kind of want some kind of time frame. They're going to want to know every time they see you, how's it going, and you're going to feel like, oh, look, I haven't made that much progress, because that will make you feel that you're not coming along as further as you can. And look, I know from 8 years of running my business and teaching my courses that, every process it's planting seeds and it's waiting for them to grow. The overnight success thing is very, very rare with manifesting. And I know that there's been so many times where I've wanted to give up, but I've just kept going. And because I no longer talk about my business with any of my friends, like people I've known for years, I didn't have that pressure anymore of people, constantly saying to me, how many courses have you sold and how many this, because I just stopped telling them. I just thought, this is what I'm working on. I'm not going to tell them what my goals and aspirations are anymore. And, and it kind of worked much better for me when I kept that in, until I started doing really well, and then I felt like I could mention it in conversation. So I hope that's helped you today with day 9 of staying positive and motivated while you're living your passion and pursuing your goals. And join me tomorrow for day 10. And please, if you love this video, like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you. This is Sal Jade from the Psychic Healing Academy.